Reset. You're homeless here in Oceanside. And you're disabled. And you're currently in a faith-based emergency shelter program.
Correct.
But that's not going to last long because...
I'm not religious. So they were very promising in the very beginning that they promised they were going to get me into a transitional shelter, a voucher program. And when they figured out really how difficult it is to find someone shelter for a physically disabled person, they started pushing other options on me. And she had made the calls that I had called and found the exact same answers that I got. And then she started asking me about faith-based, and I was very polite, and I said I have no problem with it as long as I don't have to participate because it's not my religion. I'm atheist. And that's when things really took the downturn. She was very condescending, and...
She meaning a case manager?
Case manager.
Yeah.
Yes. And I went from being somebody who's helped to being told that I am now considered low priority and difficult.
But, so, if you don't go to the forced Bible studies, then you're exited back to the streets.
To the streets, yes.
And you're in a walker because you have trouble walking.
Yeah.
Disabled.
Correct.
Were you ever street homeless?
No, thank goodness. I do have a vehicle at the moment. It's unfortunately going to be repossessed at some point in time. I'm going to start playing keep away so I can keep sleeping in it till I hopefully get my disability. And then my hope is that I can find some kind of van just so that's likable, because sexual assault on homeless women it's on the rise. And then I will just start piecing my life together myself, because I just see now that none of these homeless agencies or the government is going to help me.
Now, so you are a vehicle resident, mobile homeless. Mm-hmm. How long were you in your car or your...
I actually bought my car specifically to have someplace to sleep. I was in a skoolie bus, and I was working full-time, great job, working virtual. I was actually on my way to a what's called a work camping job, where you work in exchange for a place for the season. When I pulled over and I got up to move something, and the bus rolled downhill, hit a tree, and I flew out the windshield. And when that happened, the water pipe broke in my bus and destroyed everything that wasn't on a shelf.
And you.
And me.
And so you were the worst hurt.
I was the worst hurt, yeah. I lost pretty much 95% of everything I owned. And, a lot of it I had to give away because I couldn't take with me, that didn't fit in a suitcase. And I've been fighting ever since then, literally just to live and get my life back.
A mutual friend, lawyer, is who first connected us. Well, I think you were following me on Twitter or something. Mm-hmm. We had some interactions, but it was a mutual friend. So were you had any issues with the criminalization?
Not yet, but I know I will. It's just a matter of time, in San Diego, and with all the homeless that's going to be swept out of San Diego, it's going to happen.
They got to go
everywhere.
someplace else. But and our mutual friend said, what was important of your story was how shelters are not set up for people with disabilities.
They're really not. I honestly have called 70 places now, and I have been told no every time, either because there's no openings, they don't take physically disabled, or I don't qualify because I'm not a drug addict, fleeing domestic violence, or severely mentally ill.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't want to say I'm severely mentally ill because I'm hoping one day, after tons of physical therapy, I can go back to work. And if I have drug addict or mental ill, severe mental illness on my record, it takes me out of a certain job markets like financial, government, compliance, If any of that is on a federal background check, I won't get those jobs.
Right.
And that's where the money is.
So you want to work, just need a stable place where
I can heal.
where you can heal, both from all this trauma.
Yeah, physically and definitely and absolutely emotional.
When you're exited from the faith-based shelter, a rescue mission, so what are you going to do?
Sleep in the back of my car and literally wait and hope. Literally, not even though I'm not religious, literally pray that a police doesn't knock on my door. I won't survive. I will not survive in a tent. Literally.
And are you getting disability?
Not yet. I'm applying for it.
And that
it
could
looks
take
good.
years.
Hopefully not.
Well, there's a large percentage that actually just get
Yeah.
turned down the first time.
Yeah.
And it's, people who are desperately in need
Yeah.
because they can't work and, anyways.
My doctors have all said they're going to say that I should be on disability, so I do have high hopes.
Yeah.
Higher.
Well, you have to hold on to at least hope.
That right now is literally all I have.
So what would you want people to know about homelessness? Because people normally think homelessness is that guy with the cardboard sign, panhandling on the corner, and here you are.
I was like them. I honestly was. I had the good job. I had the home. I was just like everyone who is housed. Beautiful life, beautiful job, beautiful everything. And insurance company screwed me over. And every single thing that I have done, I have run into nothing but obstacles. I have literally begged for help. I have emailed and called my representatives, mayors in other cities. I have done everything humanly possible within my reach to do something. It's not us. It's not us homeless. We are, what you see, they make great news, but it's not all of us. Don't punish us because of that small majority you see. And those people were broken.
Right.
There's been times where I have honestly thought about grabbing a bottle and saying, screw it. It's easier. And I don't know how I haven't, but I haven't. But I understand how they got there.
Right. That's what people don't know is that, or I think they know, they just don't want to accept that, people abuse drugs or alcohol because they're escaping pain, and homelessness has so much trauma and pain. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We really are not to blame. We are doing our part. It's the homeless agencies and the politicians who are not. And I'm begging people to please demand change.
Yeah. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
RV, doctors to help me heal, and a really good recruiter to get me a really good job again.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you.